a true production.
What is the main challenge in any relationship? Is it romance, keeping the spark alive, passionate sex? What is the main or the biggest challenge in any relationship? Without a doubt, good communication. That is the foundation, the tool, and the skill with which a relationship is built. There can be no relationship without communication. And sadly, nobody teaches us how to do it well. Sadly, we don't know how. And few of us actually educate ourselves on the subject. Since I wasn't going to miss the chance, I wanted to teach you about this topic, whether you're watching or listening to me. I brought in an expert on the subject, Ana Maria Aristi. How are you?
Good. Oh, I'm happy to be here again.
Same here. You're already a guest of honor.
I already feel like, let me tell you, I look like a peacock.
Oh, come on, VIP. I've recorded this often with very few people.
I'm unbearable. Man.
Well, when you're all the way up and super empowered, don't forget about
One. Well, never about my godfather. Well,
I trust you. Ana Maria, I wanted to invite you to this session so we can talk about the core issue of any relationship. Interpersonal, not just in couples, but mainly between partners.
yes.
Communication. Do we really communicate? Do we know how to do it?
No, nobody taught us, you see? Let's put it this way, Johnny. How did your parents fight, for example?
By yelling.
Right?
And after everything blew up, either one would be silent and the other extremely angry.
Exactly. Or silence because your dad is angry. Yes, yes, yes. Or your mom. Oh, no, your mom. Forget it, right? So that's how we used to fight. And notice that we're not used to arguing or facing conflict or communicating as adults. We do it either as kids throwing tantrums or as overbearing parents. So here it goes, because I'd like this to be like a class. Just imagine that.
I love it.
We have three ways. All human beings have three ways of relating to each other. From an adult place, from the child throwing a tantrum, or from the overbearing parent, or from the adult woman, the little girl throwing a tantrum, or the overbearing mother.
Okay.
Yes? So let's say that Johnny Abraham goes to play dominoes with his friends on a Thursday. See? And Karen stays at her house, right? Waiting for Johnny to come back, since Johnny usually comes back at 11 at night.
Okay.
Right? But it turns out that Johnny gets home really late one day, right? And he arrives around 1:32 in the morning. Since Karen is at home when she hears Johnny come in, right? Normally, we women react like, this is the last straw, but what's wrong with you? You didn't let me know. What do you care? You always come home at 11. Don't you understand that I'm worried? But look, it's just thoughtlessness. You didn't bring your charger. Obviously, you always run out of battery. You were probably with your buddies, but they were there and I was here. Right? So what's going on? This nagging mom is going to wake up the whiny kid. With that conversation, we wake up the whiny kid. And the whiny kid reacts. But if I'm always working, why do you care? I just went out with my friends to play dominoes. And the thing is, you don't know. Oscar is getting divorced, and he was telling us about it. And you don't even ask me how it went. This is the last straw.
I can't have a moment for myself.
I can't have a moment for myself. This is the last straw, isn't it? Perfect. So this tantrum-throwing boy is going to set off the tantrum-throwing girl. Yeah. And then what the spoiled girl says is, what do you mean not even a little time for you? The one who doesn't have a little time for me is me. But you know what? That's why I'm going to go with my friends to Las Vegas. That trip they're planning. Of course, me who is here at home all day. So this spoiled girl, Johnny, wakes up the strict dad. Okay. And the strict dad answers, don't tell me to Las Vegas. With what money? I want to see, right now I'm blocking the cards, or what? You're going to go with the money you've saved. Just look at that. Or just because I want to go play dominoes with my friends. And that's where relationships stay. Wearing ourselves out from our whiny inner children or from our overbearing adults. And those adults, the real adult relationship, never happens, Johnny. And we would have to learn to communicate from there. What would happen if at that moment Karen doesn't arrive or you arrive? And besides, honey, you don't know what happened to me. I ran out of battery, obviously. It was already so late. I thought you had fallen asleep. I didn't want to wake you up anymore. Guess what? I stayed until really late. Oscar told us he's getting a divorce. We're all very worried. We're supporting our friend, right? And she could answer, my love, I'm really upset. Because honestly, I'm very worried. I kept calling and calling you. You weren't answering. I'm worried. You never come back at this hour. You know what? Right now, I really don't want to talk. You know what, my love? You're absolutely right. If you want, we can talk tomorrow. And I do apologize to you. I lost track of time. The next day, when you wake up, you could say, you know what? No, I'm really sorry for worrying you. How about if we go out to dinner tonight and we talk? That's where the adults met. Does that make sense? And that's not what usually happens. What usually happens is the first example.
I relate to all your examples. If anyone else relates, comment me. Clearly, clearly.
Yes. If you're going to work something out with your mom, right? That's my case. You know that sometimes I just, right? I think that when you can set a boundary with your parents, say no, that's when you've really learned how to set boundaries in life. And that's really healthy and very wise.
How you say no and set boundaries depends on whether it's a tantrum.
How am I telling you? Usually when we're going to say important things, sometimes what we do is yell or use insults or speak in a rude way. And the truth is, that's not the wisest or healthiest way. There is a wise and healthy way, and it has 4 steps. First, Johnny, I have to describe the situation. In Gestalt, there is something called phenomenological description. And I describe what I see without judgment. I can say, I see you sitting on a chair. I don't know if that chair is made of plastic, if it's velvet fabric, if it's some other kind of fabric. I don't know, right? Or if it's plastic that looks like fabric. I just look at it and tell you, it's a chair. I might see it as gray. You might see it as another color. So I don't make a judgment, right? I just describe the situation. I see that you're touching your eye, right? So, but look, I'm not making any judgment. I'm just saying, I see that you're touching your eye. Then where do I go? Something super important in a conversation is empathy. I imagine that I think that it seems to me that you. And then I could say to you, Johnny, I see that you touch your eye and your eyebrow a lot. I imagine maybe the lights bother you. Or I imagine you have something in your eye. Yeah? So I'm being empathetic with you. Then I can tell you how what you're doing affects me. And maybe I'll tell you. I'm worried because I don't know if you're comfortable enough. If there's something that bothers you, tell me. The situation has already changed.
Of course, and to put it simply, for example, with a partner, it's my love. I see that maybe you're very quiet. I imagine that something bothered you, And it worries me because, well, I want you to be okay. Whenever you're ready, we can talk.
Good. 10. Gold star student. Okay.
Practice it. Okay.
Yeah,
We did those 3 steps.
exactly.
That's speaking from your adult self.
Super important. And then maybe I can finish with one more step, making a request to you.
Okay.
I ask you to, or I need you to, right? For example, I could say to you, I can see that right now, while you're talking to me, you're raising your voice a lot. I see that you're not looking at me. And I just heard that you slammed the door. I imagine that you're very upset. Or maybe you had a really uncomfortable situation at work. When I see you like this, I get really worried. Because I immediately see that you lock yourself in your room and you don't tell me about it. I would like it. If you're going through a hard time, you would talk to me about it. That's a way that seems very structured, Johnny. But they really are 4 steps that if you follow and practice them, you start making this I message your own. Why? Because I could come and say again, oh, Johnny, just as hysterical as always. No, it's just that you come in slamming the door like you always do, right? It's always the same thing, Johnny. Oh, well, no, and with you, since I can't talk to you or ask you anything because I already know you're going to go lock yourself up. It's always the same. I just can't talk to you. Yeah, no. I mean, if you look at the other side, there's no communication. We're not reaching an understanding. We're not getting any closer. And we need that closeness, Johnny.
Yes. So to get back to the students in this class,
Go ahead,
first of all, let the adult be the one who speaks,
please.
not the nagging father or the overbearing mother,
Exactly.
nor the tantrum-throwing boy or girl.
Please.
And that adult may sometimes be boiling inside, but you try to stay calm, overbearing, of course, and give yourself the space and time to relax and talk about it.
Of course.
Right? Go ahead.
Of course. Thank you.
When you're going to give your opinion, or rather comment on something,
Yes?
don't do it from a place of judgment. Do it based on what you see. That is, I see, I imagine this, I would like to know, and also how I can support you.
More or less, right? Exactly. First, you describe it. It's a description without judgment. There you are.
Perfecto. What would the other person have to do there? Because many times you can do your 4 steps and do it from your adult self.
I adore you.
Listen to the podcast with Anna Mari and Johnny. I get home and my partner says to me, oh, what about you or whatever. So how do you handle that when you're the other person?
I love it. There's an important point here. When you learn to be an adult and act with maturity, you invite the other person to be an adult too.
Right?
Because the other person might say something to you or react impulsively. And you can say, you know what? When we calm down, then we'll talk. I don't think we can talk like this. And you set a boundary with the other person. Because I love it when you say we should do it from a place of maturity, not from the annoying or childish side. But if we're being honest, Johnny, I could count the tantrums I throw in. I don't know about you, but I throw so many tantrums that suddenly I realize, okay, Anna, I have to stop myself and ask, is this genuine or literal? Yes, it's a tantrum that I'm throwing at its fullest. So when you realize that you're throwing a tantrum, yes, it's like, okay, this isn't going to work. I mean, a conversation like that with my partner isn't going to work. Now, there's a really important point, the silences.
We'll get to the silences. But first, I just want you to confirm what you're saying.
All right.
When we see that we're reacting or losing control or about to throw a tantrum, we need to observe ourselves.
Yes.
And if we manage to see it, we need to give ourselves enough time and space to let the bubbling settle down. In other words, let our amygdala relax and allow the adult part, which is the prefrontal cortex of the brain, to come in, which is the conscious and rational part.
Yes.
to act like an adult and not like a reactive child. Okay. So, what's up with the silences?
I love what you're saying because you just described what a cooling off period is. So when I'm very tense or very angry or very upset and I want to do something or say something, I have to take enough time, like you said, for my amygdala to settle down. Yes. I mean, if we talk in the heat of the moment, we're not going to get anywhere. First, we need to calm down, relax. Okay? Okay. And that's the hardest step, Johnny.
Yes, because you're hooked and you want to vent to me.
Has that ever happened to you? Or you say, I want to vent? Or another one is, I want this to be solved quickly.
That's more my thing.
Mine is, I mean, you can't leave me upset for 5 minutes.
Yes.
No, wait, right? Because my head starts racing. Why? Because he won't fix it. I messed up and shouldn't have said it, but I did. He said and did things too, but what do I know? And now, from being like that, we start having a horrible mental dialogue that only feeds the monster. And being silent and taking critical distance, that's how you sit with your monster, because it's about learning to have patience and wisdom. And that's something that's really hard for our generations. Millennials, non-millennials, older, younger, whatever you want to call it. Because we want immediacy.
Right?
So what if your partner got upset with you and needs a couple of days to settle down?
Right?
During those couple of days, you're driving yourself crazy. No.
No, your brain fills all those gaps with overthinking, answers, and insecurities. It's horrible.
It's horrible, Johnny, isn't it? No. And you're like, tick, 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 tick. So you have to learn to be quiet. You have to learn to be patient and give your partner the space they need to settle in, so that they can also come to talk to you from a place of wisdom. Not from a reactive place, not from an aggressive or violent place, where you no longer feel comfortable
Yes, not from a defensive place.
from a defensive.
Instead, see how to solve it.
Of course. And sometimes it's also nice when the other person sets clear boundaries for you in a gentle way. I love that. When someone can set a clear boundary with me in a gentle way, it makes me respect them.
What would that look like?
Oh, the person I respect most today who sets strong boundaries with me is my son. I have a son who sometimes sets boundaries with me as big as the world.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, there was a time when I was really upset, throwing a tantrum over something like the typical situation where your teenager doesn't answer their phone and you just want to die, right? And then I started to approach him, yelling. And it's just that I'm tired of you. I'm fed up. I can't deal with you. It's always the same. I tell you 20 times, and you even lash out with your sharp tongue like a snake. You're just like your dad, right? Ugh, even worse. I mean, no, that's terrible. Really terrible on my part. And then I remember perfectly that Rodrigo said to me, Mom, like this? No. I can't talk to you like this. When you calm down, we'll talk. He turned around and closed his bedroom door on me. He didn't slam it. Nothing. He very prudently closed the door, and I was left like,
Yeah.
But with your tantrum, which could also happen with a partner, right? That's when I thought, this boy is setting a boundary with me. He's probably seen his mom do it. I hope so. He already learned. And when I calmed down, I went to him because besides, he and I have a really lovely dynamic. We can't stay mad at each other for long. But when we calm down, it's like we come back and say, hey, I'm sorry. That wasn't my intention. I didn't mean to say it like that. Or I made a mistake from both sides. And I remember perfectly that he told me, look, Mom, it's really awful when you get like that. A vein pops out here on your forehead. You get really upset. And honestly, I even have nightmares about your face now. Wow, Then he told me, honestly, I don't like talking to you that way. And I said, I have to learn a different way to talk to him. Thank you. So when someone sets a boundary like that for me, I have no choice but to hold back my bratty inner child and calm down my controlling mom side, which is also me, and approach things as an adult. And I think that in a relationship, Johnny, it's an extraordinary way to communicate and to deal with conflicts. The problem is that we think a conflict will lead to terrible things, and we don't want to face conflicts.
That's the issue
And I don't know how you see men in that sense.
about facing conflict. It's a whole issue. Basically, I think most men tend to minimize or invalidate. It's like they don't want to get involved. Once they do get involved, I do think that, well, from what I've seen, what I know, and sometimes I've also been part of it, it's my strength against yours. I mean, it's like I'm going to throw everything I've got at you, right? Of course, there are others who also have the other side of the struggle. Running away, too. And they leave and they go with friends and drinking and all that. So neither option is good. Because I think he's not being a man. He's acting like a kid throwing a tantrum, but on a much more violent level
Yes.
and more dangerous. Or he's also acting like that kid who avoids things and just goes off to play and all that. He tries to deal with it through play. But that's not it. So, well, I do believe, going back to this part about conflict, that it has a lot of collateral beauty when conflict is well addressed.
Yes.
Be. The purpose of a discussion and of arguing is not to destroy the other person. It's to build together with the other person a shared reality, a joint reality that both of us can share and see. And that leads you and me to face the problem together or work for the common good. Not you against me to see who wins the argument, as if there were really a scoreboard for that. I don't know how, of course,
Yes.
score.
Their goals to see who won, who scored more goals, or who wins.
So I'd ask you this. Assuming that all your students in this class are already very disciplined, we're already coming from our adult selves.
Come on.
We've already given ourselves some space, we've already observed ourselves and controlled the child and the strict parent, and we've closed the door just a bit. We set a healthy boundary and we're ready for that dinner or that coffee or that conversation.
Yes.
It could be in an hour, 2 hours later, or the next day. What are the best ways to start that conversation?
Of course, because then there's the question, right? We need to talk. Dun, 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 dun. Horror movie.
Yeah.
Run away, right? Yeah. See, even the little dolls were shaking. Yeah, I think sometimes when we finally calm down, it's about starting with the question, how do you feel, right? Or how are you feeling with me today? Or I think I would like to resolve this issue. I don't know. It already includes a question or a conciliatory phrase. No, not this. We have to fix this situation because it's not cool, right?
Yes.
And change our beliefs about conflict a little, you know? Conflict. When I give premarital courses, I love it because what I say is, I wish you many nights of conflict, you know? But that the conflict is well resolved. That it leads us to say, I got to know you better through this, right? Look, from you arriving late from Domino's, I learned that your friend matters to you, that you guys really support each other, that you offered me an apology. I really appreciate it because it means you saw me. It means I matter to you, right? So approach it from that place. And at the coffee shop, a neutral place. Hey, you're honestly, I, Johnny, think it's never okay to fight in the bedroom. That's a rule. Just don't fight in the bedroom. That, and in a premarital course, when I took my premarital courses, they told me, don't go to bed angry.
Did you ever manage to do it?
Look, or rather, did you used to manage to do it?
Just like they told me, and I even got it tattooed. I said, if this is going to be a good marriage, I can't go to bed angry. Evie Scoote. We could go on until like 6:30 in the morning, arguing and arguing and arguing. And suddenly you'd see the sun, the little birds, right? By then, your throat was dry, your tears had dried up, the other person was stubborn, and so was I. And that's what I learned. If you can go to bed angry, please do, because you need that space to cool off, because you need that adrenaline and irritation to calm down. Sometimes you're so upset that you can't even talk because you know you're going to be super offensive to the other person, and then you'll regret it, right? Because the typical thing is the door is wide open. So if you want, we can sign the divorce papers. If you want, I'll leave the house. None of that makes any sense.
It doesn't make sense. Karen and I took a course on nonviolent communication. Oh, that's great. Really great. And I think that all dating couples and young married couples, or even married couples who want to refresh their communication, should take a course like that.
Yes.
At Academia Conquista de Tu Mundo, we have it, but if not, look for it in a book. Well, whatever you have to do, but take it together.
Yes.
And basically, among the many things we learned, two were especially important. What you're saying, if you're bubbling up and you're really angry, you're no longer within your window of tolerance. You're already out of your zen. Let's call it that.
100%.
You're no longer in your adult self.
No.
You're either in your inner tantrum throwing child, right? Or in your overbearing father. Totally. So what comes out will be similar to the example you gave earlier in the episode.
Yes.
A judgment, a complaint, an attack.
Yes.
What happens when you complain, attack, or throw an offensive bomb? Also what you brought up there. The other person's going to defend.
Of course.
Of course, if they have much more emotional intelligence than you at that moment, that can lead things in a good direction. But then don't communicate from that bubbling up. It's like wanting to stick your finger in boiling water. You're going to get burned.
Yes.
If you wait for it to cool down and settle, you can stick your finger in without danger.
Totally.
That's one. And two, besides the stripe and the judgment, yes, try to use I statements. As you also said, it's not that. It's you did this or that, which is already an attack.
Yes.
I felt everything you told us like that. But in a much more summarized way, I felt this and seen it and want to see how we can work on it together.
Right?
Or perceive it that way. I've noticed this in you and want to help. Those things have helped Karen and me a lot. So everything you've given here, you've summarized a course for them that cost us about 15 sessions and around 10,000 pesos. Yes, I swear. So really make sure you understand clearly, take notes and review this episode.
Yes.
Because once we're in that conversation, it's important that we do it right.
Yes. So
Understanding that we're already coming from a place of not bubbling, but we don't want to start bubbling again. What do? Being there. We're already there. We're supposed to be calm.
Yes.
We don't want to fall back into bubbling.
Yes.
We already know not to attack and all the things you mentioned at the beginning. How do you give us some hacks or tips to start that conversation?
Okay. If you're watching this episode, ideally you should write down the 4 steps. Yes, to start with, here it goes. It's description without judgment, empathy with the other person, speaking from the I message, like I feel. I see, I imagine, yes, without judgment. Then how do I feel about what you do, right? So that you know. And then I ask you for something or I tell you what I would like. Why do you need to write them down? Because when you go to talk to your partner, it might seem like a joke, Johnny. But if you have them written down, you can follow them. Yes? And it's practice, practice, practice until you achieve mastery. Don't get frustrated because no one has taught us to communicate like this.
Never.
Honestly, no one. So what happens is people say, no, forget it. I started doing it and it didn't work because then my partner said no. If you're watching this episode, you can watch it with your partner and the two of you can say, now we know how we're going to approach communication.
Of course.
Right? And one thing that I love to do, that I really enjoy doing, Johnny, is a grounding exercise. And the grounding exercise is before you start talking about anything with your partner, sit down. And I would start with 1 minute, but I would gradually extend it to 5 minutes, maybe, and seeing what happens. The couple sits facing each other. In a chair, we sit face to face and look at each other in silence, in absolute silence. You can laugh if you want, because most likely your partner might make you laugh, and you'll want to laugh. But you can't talk. You can't say anything, right? And it's about observing them in silence, being in touch with your own breathing and the other person being in touch with theirs. And that makes our defenses go down. How often do we meet each other's eyes in silence?
Very few.
Never, very few times.
No, without saying anything, never. Eye to eye, not often. Most people don't master that skill. And now in silence, even less.
Of course. So it would be wonderful to be able to do it like that, because then you lower your defenses, because you know the intention is to fix things, not make them worse. And then you also touch on a very important topic, which is like the ego in the relationship, right? So I'm the one who's going to win in this argument, and I'm going to get my way. And so I'm going to convince him, or I'm going to tell her so that she'll admit she was wrong. I think that admitting when we're wrong is a sign of great wisdom. And offering an apology is a sign of great wisdom. And being grateful that the other person offered an apology is something that can bring us even closer together. Absolutely. So much closer.
Absolutely. The key here, and this is something I learned in another course, is to seek, as I mentioned before, through this good communication you're suggesting, to be able to build a shared reality. Example. I'm going to give an example. If I show you this phone and this is reality, you're going to talk to me about your reality, which is the part of the phone, which looks white with the side, with the camera lenses. And I'm going to talk to you about my reality, which is the screen part, the photo. Or I see the clock. In the end, it's the same phone, seen from different angles.
Of course.
If you manage to convey to me what you see, and I do the same, we're going to build a shared reality, and that will create closeness between us. And the greater the closeness, the greater the sense of connection, peace, and so on. The less shared reality, the less affinity, clearly the connection is destroyed.
Of course.
That's where manipulation begins. Emotional blackmail, trying to convince, all of this that you call coming from the ego. So that's been very important for me. And you're presenting it in an elegantly concise way.
Yes.
These courses can take months to teach you.
Of course.
And you're giving it here with very clear steps. And in the end, the idea is for the relationship to win,
Absolutely.
not to win the argument.
Absolutely, Johnny.
Right?
And imagine, because right now we're talking about couples,
Yes.
right? That you could do this with your children. Because, well, of course, I focus on couples, but above all, what matters most to me is how your relationship is with your teenage children. Because however your relationship is with your teenage children, one day they will choose a partner, right? And throughout your children's adolescence, you're modeling for them how to communicate and how not to communicate. That's why my course is called How to Support Your Teenager and Not Die Trying. But what you mentioned about realities is completely true. You show me a phone, and I see a white phone, and you see a black phone. Who's wrong? Neither of us. Who's right? Both of us. Right? So the same thing happens in communication.
That's right. And here's a very important point I want to emphasize. And now that you mentioned teenagers, many times that teenager who's struggling is actually us. Why? Because
Us.
they're saying something that hurts us, and instead of understanding that this pain, obviously thinking they're saying it to us from a place of love, right? And with the method you mentioned, it hurts us because it's something we know we have to work on. It hurts us because it's something we know we have to accept about ourselves and improve. And nobody wants to feel like they have these cracks to fix. Of course, everyone wants to feel perfect and loved and validated just as we are. But that's not real. We are human beings and we have a lot to improve and grow.
A lot.
So, when someone points that out to you, for example, I don't know, my love, honestly, this hurts me, and when you do such and such thing, blah, blah, blah. So, I want to see how we can improve it. La, 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 following your method. This is just an example. If the other person doesn't know how to self regulate, they'll most likely end up defending themselves. But many times, they also leave and slam the door.
Of course.
And they leave, and you're left wanting to talk. So, how can we be this adult consistently, even if the other person hasn't engaged in that process yet? Of course. If they never engage, we'll decide. Yes, he won't be our friend. He won't be our partner or colleague anymore.
Yeah.
But if we see that every time we try to talk to him or her, they from a fight or flight response,
Oh, how painful.
how can we handle that? I mean, how can we avoid feeling unheard, unseen, and turn the other cheek again?
Wow, Johnny, I hear you. And honestly, it really does hurt. I mean, look at how you put it, either from a place of fighting or from a place of fleeing. And they're both really awful places to be. Because look, both men and women, all human beings, need three things to feel seen, recognized, and loved. If I want to fix something with you and you're going to run away, it's really tough. Or if I want to resolve something with you, but you react aggressively and won't listen, that doesn't work either. So I do think it's important for us to know that I need to feel seen by you. And that's how you say it. And we're not used to saying it from a place of maturity. You know something, Johnny? The truth is, we've been arguing a lot lately, yes, and I feel very lonely. Yes, I really want to feel supported by you in this process. It's been very hard for us to reach an agreement. Yes, honestly. And I need to feel close to you. What do I need? Well, maybe I need you to send me little messages in the morning to tell me that you love me, that I'm important to you. But asking for it like that, Joni, we don't do it.
You know what happens? Correct me if I'm wrong. But first, we start by playing mind reader. We think the other person is going to know. And since they don't, we let things pile up until they explode.
Totally.
So when it explodes, we bring out this tantrum throwing child and nagging parent on top of it all. And that's what we give. If we did it maybe from the beginning and the other person also put forward their best version from the start, even if it doesn't go well, you could see that willingness. Like you say, would we master it and become black belts?
Yes.
In communication, everything becomes easier to discuss. The problem is that famous saying, choose your battles. There's a lot of truth to it because we can't make a fuss about everything.
Yeah, no.
But on the other hand, if it hurt you and you don't like it and it bothers you and it keeps happening, talk about it. Because choosing your battles later on makes that battle you didn't choose when it was small turn into a war.
Huge, 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 Johnny, huge. And look, that happens a lot in romantic relationships. It's like, I want to solve everything all at once right now.
Yes.
And if I start throwing a pen, a pencil, a notebook, a cap at you right now, you're going to start having like 20 things on you. And you're going to say, wait, hold on.
Yes.
We need to learn to be patient, to take things one by one, situation by situation. Sometimes we want to fix everything all at once in a relationship, and that's just not possible.
And because you let it build up,
Of course.
it's better to take it bit by bit. Of course, I agree.
And today, there was something that bothered me. Don't let it go. Don't let it slide. Because then, of course, it's typical, right? Well, we're talking about you being late. But now you're bringing up that I didn't get the car checked a month ago.
That's super toxic, bringing up things from the past. We all do it
We all do it.
because you keep your cards hidden in there.
Of course.
You use them to hurt
Of course.
or to win.
Exactly. So you say, she's winning this one. No, but right now, I'll play the one I've been holding back. That's not fair for the relationship.
Yes. And now, for example, if you're at a point where, okay, you're already talking and you're pacing yourself, the other person says, hey, it's just that there's always something to talk about every day.
Yes.
I experienced this in my relationship. And now Karen understands it better than anyone. But she would tell me, it's just that now you always want to talk about something. Or what bothered me, what I thought, what I wanted to agree on, right? So I told her, That's what we signed up for.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I want to fight daily.
No.
I wouldn't want to fight. But we're getting to know each other. We're building a team. We're starting to lay the foundations for the family we're going to build and our growing relationship. So there are a lot of things to talk about. At work, I talk to 200 people about countless topics, but I never discuss them with my partner. So what I want to tell you here is if your partner is clearly complaining all the time and is just whining and doing it from the wrong angle, well, that's definitely a huge red flag.
Of course.
But if there are a lot of things to talk about daily or throughout the week, but you do it calmly and with the intention of building something together, don't get overwhelmed. Don't worry, don't go crazy, and don't feel like your relationship is in trouble because that's what you signed up for. It's a constant negotiation, communication, and agreement. Or am I wrong?
Ana Maria, I love what you just said and how you said it because that's true. I mean, we get scared because, oh, there's conflict. There's conflict again, conflict again. But it has to happen, it has to exist. I mean, getting to know each other takes time. It's these uncomfortable conversations, these uncomfortable conflicts. And it's like we're being tested in the relationship too, right? It's about how I'm going to solve it.
Yes.
How am I going to approach you? How am I going to feel more connected and less apart?
Yeah.
And I think a really important point, after you've already chosen your battle and you're going to go for it. After that, give yourself a moment to laugh and see what is actually there in the relationship.
That's great. I love it. Especially the second part.
See what there is. Why? Because we can get lost in a cloud of no, but this, but that, making an endless list of what's missing. Yes, yes.
Yes.
But what if we actually make lists of the things that are present within that conflict? What did I just realize? How did you react? What do you think? Well, this time I noticed that you yelled less. Yes. This time I saw that it took you 5 more minutes to run away.
Right?
Yes.
This time I think you actually looked me in the eyes while I was telling you how I felt.
Yes.
And I appreciate that because it's important to me.
Yes.
But we're not used to talking like this.
No, and we don't do the gratitude ritual with our own lives, much less with our partner. That's such a beautiful, powerful recommendation you're giving us. After a good argument to say, okay, that's there. And we're going to work on it. But let's also look at 3 or 4 things that are good
Of course.
to see that not everything is in chaos and not everything is dark.
Yes.
We do see this darkness, this shadow.
Yes.
Now we look at the lights, but remember the shadow,
Of course.
just to see that it's really worth fighting for that shadow.
Please, or we'll just walk around with a little black cloud over us, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Everything feels dark and terrible. Being in a relationship is a nightmare. When did I even consider this? What a mess. Still, it's worth it if you work on it.
Yes, you have to work on it, and above all, learn to argue without destroying each other. That would emphasize, like, okay, yes, choose your battles if you want, but above all, choose how you fight,
Of course.
right? You're going to show up with all the, like we said in the last episode, with all the masculine energy at its peak, ready to attack the mammoth?
No, please.
Or are you going to show up from this adult place who, yes, okay, has strong energy, but is also vulnerable and also sensitive,
Yes.
right? So that kind of starts to build a different dynamic. And what do you think? People might think, Ana Mari, you tell me that these arguments wear down a relationship, but every time I manage to have a good argument with my wife,
Uh-huh.
I feel like we resolved something or that we saw things the same way or that we built something together. I feel something that motivates me. Hey, we can do this. Like, I feel less stressed. Like it motivates me and excites me.
Yes, of course.
I feel like we're going down the same path.
Yes. And, you're right about what you're saying. We can't just focus on the negative. We're building something, and we have to be patient. It's not just about seeing the bad in someone else, like thinking they don't understand you or do things your way. That's another aspect, right? In a relationship, the other day I loved it because someone asked me, hey, I'm wondering, what do you think? Do you think my husband is capable of changing? And I said, it's not about whether your husband has the ability to change. It's about whether you have the ability to accept your husband as he is, right? Because change has to come from within. I can't expect you to change and then adapt to something that suits me.
Yeah.
I like it or it seems good. I can ask for what I need.
Yes.
You decide whether you'll give it to me or not. I can't either. I can ask. But the other person might say they don't want to give it to me. And then, well, you start making decisions.
Yes.
But a big step is also accepting the other person as they are.
Effective listening is crucial to accepting others as they are and getting to know them better.
Yes.
You speak very well about silences and about stopping this. No, to this inner voice.
Yes, because that's a real thing.
How do you recommend or what do you recommend? So we can listen in order to understand and not to respond.
That's it. That's great. That's it. Listen to understand and not to respond. I love how you put it. Thinking that if I stop my internal dialogue, I won't be on the defensive. It's like I hear your point, and most likely your point is going to trigger me. It's going to make me angry. It's going to bother me, and I'm not going to agree. But I need to listen to it. If I listen to it and I manage to do it, 5 seconds, think about it. Maybe 5 seconds might seem like nothing. 5 seconds is eternal. When you are listening to the other person, if I listen to you and pause for 5 minutes, and I let what you told me sink in, I breathe, and then I respond to you. I can respond from a different place.
Of course.
And maybe if I need to make myself vulnerable and say, you know what? I don't even know if this thing you have, you're right. They said, wait a minute. I pause and then I say, you know what? It's hard for me. It makes me angry. It infuriates me. Yes, you're right.
There are several interesting aspects involved. The first one is to be humble. I mean, to take off these masks and armor and everything, all of it. Goodbye, swords and shields.
Yep.
It's a conversation, not a fight, right? Be humble. Know that you are a human being and you have mistakes, flaws, and hurtful traits.
Yes.
Those are areas you need to improve. So you come from a different place, as you mentioned. And also give the other person the possibility that they might be right.
Well,
Because, like we said on the phone, I showed you,
yes.
well, we both have some valid points. Of course, there are exaggerated things. There are things that are very colored by our own wounds. A lot of things are exaggerated in general. But we do have a point, especially if it's my reality. And this is hurting me. You can't just invalidate me. You should help me, but not just because you think you need to change for my happiness. Let's see how I can develop this part of myself, heal this part, but help me.
Of course.
Or let's approach this relationship differently. We have this bond in that area.
Or what if I were in your place? From your perspective, and I look at the phone from your point of view, maybe I'll realize that you're actually right.
And vice versa.
Yes, and I'd like you to come over to this side too, so you can see what I'm seeing.
Absolutely.
Because it's the only way, Johnny. It's the only way we can communicate from a healthy, respectful place where we don't hurt the relationship. Now, I would like to say that we have to be very patient. Today, we're living in an age of constant immediacy. Social media, everything is immediate, everything is fast. Packages arrive quickly, food arrives quickly, everything arrives quickly. Everything. We're living in an age of constant immediacy. And relationships are the last thing that need immediacy. Relationships need a lot of patience, practice until you master it, right?
Yes, it's a process you build. And it's really uncomfortable because you never stop either. You constantly make adjustments. Some stages require more intense adjustments than others.
Thank you.
But it's something for people like us who start a business or for those who are going to be high performance athletes.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
No.
So if you think you're going to get into a relationship so someone will cook for you, pamper you, and play with your hair, there will be
Yes.
some of that. But the other thing will predominate.
Completely.
The challenge. And do you know what gets me? Look, I tell people for your business or your profession or whatever it is, You studied for more than 20 years to be an employee, a professional, or a business owner.
Of course.
And every day you invest at least 8 hours in the challenges, the obstacles, the setbacks. Ah, damn, the balance, the expenses. What do we do? We're going to reopen, we're going to promote. You strive to improve yourself in your profession or business,
Of course.
and you can't dedicate an hour to a difficult conversation, and you can't become a better person by investing in yourself in a 3-week course.
Totally.
People don't want to do it. They want things immediately, like you said, and we forget that life's magic is in the process.
Totally.
And I think that whoever doesn't want this has two options: either settle for a very unsatisfying relationship,
Yeah.
and very empty,
Yes.
or stay single thinking they're going to be just fine.
Yes.
But since you're not going to be intentionally single because you won't do it, then you'll also feel very lonely and you won't even know how to listen to yourself. You won't invest in yourself. You won't grow. You'll stay a child.
Totally.
So in addition to this masterclass you gave us today and this beautiful conversation we're having, what do you recommend for us? The next time we argue with our partner, but not everything we've said, to observe ourselves. What can we do to start observing ourselves instead of just looking at the other person, that threat we have in front of us?
Yes, I love it. You know, we usually forget to breathe.
Look.
I mean, you don't stop breathing because if you did, you'd die.
No, but you're right.
But we do stop breathing. I mean, our breathing becomes really short, really short, really short.
Yes, rapid.
Rapid, right? And it's like, and then we start to look like bulls like this, right? I think the first thing we need to do is breathe and observe ourselves.
I love it.
And really, in a brutally honest self-examination, ask yourself, am I throwing a tantrum or not? No, I'm not throwing a tantrum. Okay? Or yes, do I have the right to throw a tantrum? Do I have the right to act like a repressive dad or a controlling mom? Yes, but how am I going to handle it? How am I going to express it? That's where wisdom lies. So first of all, I breathe, I observe myself, and I calm down. I use my 4 steps.
Yes, you already have.
You already have them written down really well. And then I jump into the battle, right? But let it be a battle where your opponent will become your ally.
I love it.
No, I think that's what's important because a really, really good relationship is built on difficult conversations. I love it. That's all.
That's the only thing that makes the relationship easy.
Yes.
In the long run, all those difficult conversations, they make things easier since you already know each other, as you said, and know what works or doesn't. And above all, they realize that they are allies, just like you said, when facing adversities they may have as a couple in life,
Yes.
or with their children, or financial issues. But also as individuals, is there someone by your side to support you and fight alongside you?
Yes.
Face that problem and argue as much as you need to argue without destroying each other.
Oh, that's beautiful. And knowing the person you're with is your ally, not your enemy, right?
That's it. That's it.
Yes, I love how you say it.
And I love talking with you. We've already done 2 episodes this season together.
How exciting.
So please, first of all, go watch the others. Yes, 2 episodes. Besides this one, I already have 2 episodes with Anamar, one from previous seasons.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
We're going to leave some recommendations here for you. And another one where we talk about empowered women, scared men. Oh, wow. It was good.
That one was tough. Yes.
Some interesting things were revealed there.
Yes.
It wasn't as friendly as this one.
It was much friendlier.
Yes, this one was meant to be a little more comforting. The other one is to really wake them up. Anamar, once again, all I can do is thank you and tell you that I admire you a lot
Oh, thank you, Johnny.
to give you this spotlight and all this space because you had so much,
No, really, thank you.
not just other people. I learn from you every time I see you.
That's great.
And I want to know if the people who watched and listened to us also learned something today. So please tell us what you took away from this. Tell us about the 4 steps. Tell us how it went when you did it. Share this episode, especially with your partner, so they can do the same, and with someone who might find it helpful. Anamar, thank you so much. 1,000 thanks. Many thanks to the audience, and we'll see you soon in the next episode.
A
Production by Troop.